ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Church with a Two Drink Minimum.
Alright, everybody ready? We're going to sing. Hey, Glen. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the church with Two Drink Minimum. Welcome to the church with Two Drink Minimum.
We are Interfaith,
Interspiritual, God optional. So relax and get ready for a celebration. Welcome to the church with a Two Drink Minimum.
one more time now.
Welcome to the church with a Two Drink
Everybody, can I give an
Get our wee doggies in there. We cannot ever leave out the wee doggies.
I know, especially for Reverend Jacqueline.
No, this is very true. I was reminded this week about where that phrase comes from.
Oh, where's it come from? From the Beverly Hillbillies?
Yeah, it was Jed Clampett's catchphrase from the Beverly Hillbillies, and I was totally reminded of that today. It was like, oh God, that's really telling on your subconscious, isn't it? You know, that's really, so you know a little bit about my subconscious if you know that I went directly for wee doggies, because I guess that hillbilly runs deep for me.
Well, I grew up watching it.
I know.
So, you know.
Yeah, do you have some the cultural references are really
Here's
really
to Jed Clampett.
Here's to Jed Clampett, right, and discovering oil in your backyard.
Well, discovering the riches
I know.
within.
Discovering that you already have everything that you already need to take the next step to bring greater peace in the world.
I know. Well, what a wonderful, wonderful day it's been already. Boy, we really enjoyed Regina's homily this morning. We were laughing.
I know.
I know many of us were
Because
laughing.
the synchronicities and what we're doing and stuff like that, he goes, are really wonderful. It's kind of, you're in the right place when the words that are in your head are coming out of the mouth of the person on the screen. You're in the right place.
Right.
Right. When somebody's talking, it feels like they went and read your diary.
Yeah, I know.
You ever feel like that? So that someone came and read your diary and they're, killing me softly with his song. Killing me softly.
That was funny. Sina
was.
said she also needed, that was a message she needed to hear. It was just so great the way Regina put it. Ego, now I forgot the phrase. Backlash. That was it. It reminded me at the time of that song, Working at the Car Wash, so I was going to be like
Working,
ego backlash, yeah. Looking at the backlash, yeah. Anyway.
I know what we
I just
do.
had such a good time. Hi, Arizona.
I know.
Yay.
Arizona and Tika.
Arizona and Tika are here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the radio and in the room. We really appreciate having you, and we are so happy to be here today. This is a great day.
It is. It's beautiful outside. Did you everybody enjoy their extra hour
This morning.
this morning? I got up at 9:00 and wanted to know why Sanctuary hadn't started yet. I got, it was like 8.
The homily.
The homily. Nothing. It was like I was so late. I was early actually.
Yeah, you were early. It was wonderful. And now, right here in Brooklyn, it's getting dark. And what time is it? 5:05. Isn't that interesting? So I know it's really kind of interesting. So we are entering into this period in the Northern Hemisphere where the days get shorter and all kinds of celebrations occur during this time, recognizing the return of the light. And one of those celebrations that has happened this week is called Diwali.
And I didn't really know about Diwali till we moved to New York City.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, there is a lot of South Asian, Hindu, Jain folks that live in New York City, the Queens and New Jersey and parts of here in Brooklyn and our neighborhood. Just the costumes
Fireworks
come out and the
you
Star
know.
Wars, beautiful clothes and lights and stuff. So it's like this Christmas for 5 days in November.
Yeah,
if you live in New York City.
beautiful.
So it's really this return of the light, another this time of year where another culture, another tradition reminds us that the light returns, that the light is us and where we are and who we are.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, many traditions in the Northern Hemisphere do a similar thing,
Yeah.
celebrating the return of the light. And actually, I wanted to go get a candle. Hold on a second.
So I'll just say that it's no accident that this is Lakshmi's big day. Lakshmi is the goddess of prosperity. She's the one who abundance. You want to pray and have Lakshmi's blessings. You know, so it's like this is the third harvest. So it's like you want to make sure you want to pray to the do we have enough? Everything's good. We have what we need to do. We're prosperous and good. God has blessed us because we've done what is ours to do. And to share it. And we have the idea is you throw a party because you've got so much to give away.
And
right?
that's what we're doing.
Give the light away.
Right now.
All right.
So let's do our
Can you
sing-along.
sing it
shall
with
we?
us?
Here we go. Let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
Because you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You and me.
So you and me
We'll live in peace.
we live in peace.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know
what anything is for.
what anything is
Unless
for
I listen to.
unless I listen to
that still small voice.
I have a still small voice.
telling me.
It's telling me
this simple truth.
this simple truth.
That everything
Everything
is for our good.
is for my good. Turns out.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
You can't change.
Because you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
And you and me.
And you and me
will live in peace.
we live in peace.
I'm not this body.
I'm not this body
that you see.
I
am as God.
I am as God
created me.
She created me.
And we are all.
And we are all
one family.
one family.
And it's possible.
Yes, it's possible
to live in peace.
to live in peace. Sing it
So
home.
let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change
And
me.
you can't change.
Shout it with me. You
God.
can't change God.
Be
I let things be
exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
And you and me.
And you and me
will live in peace.
we live in peace. Kumbaya.
Yeah.
Let things be exactly as they are. It's kind of counterintuitive, right?
Well,
But the way that we find the happiness that we know is inside, this light is inside, is by not trying to insert meaning outside of ourselves and to let the world be as it is, so that we can, the meaning, the Holy Spirit, the voice that likes us, can interpret the world for us for our good. Right?
Yeah.
We get out of the way. We let things be exactly as they are because nothing's actually broken. And if we
Right.
could see it as it is, we would know what to do and what is ours to do, and we'd be able to work with what is ours to do.
and as I like to say, leave those people alone.
I know. She says that to me a lot.
when
I
he's
know.
walking back and forth from work.
Yeah,
but
well-
I do it too. So we learn things when we interact with each other, and this is
That's what she was talking about
Yeah.
on Regina's lesson.
Yeah.
It's like, have the upset. or
Right.
the meltdown or whatever it is, but don't lose consciousness.
I loved that.
Don't go away.
And that's what we've been practicing here in this household, actually,
Yeah.
is, if there's an upset, we let it happen. We don't try to stifle it or hide it or anything like that. We go through it, but we're conscious through it. And so when she was talking about that today, I was just like, wow, we have really been practicing
That's
that.
that's the culture in this house.
That's what we,
that's kind of how, that's our method.
Yeah, and that's how we work through our, conflicts or whatever we might have with each other, is by allowing it to be, and not reacting to that, but just letting it pass and seeing what's on the other side, and we always find a resolution.
It passes.
Yeah.
If I'm able to stay with what I know is true, right? Otherwise, I'll spin off a story about why it is a certain way or what or needs to go. And we're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But because, well, that's the different one.
We want to let's do the lesson,
Okay.
because there we go.
Because I'm going to be talking on chapter 27 today,
right.
which is called The Healing of the Dream. It's section 3, so I can't wait to tell you more about this. But today's lesson is lesson 311, okay? And if you're in New York City, 311 means information.
It's the information.
It's the information line.
We have 911. We have 311. 311 is gives you the information line where you can ask any question and you direct it to the. So today we're asking a question. How would you have me be?
Yeah.
God, how would you have me be? So 311 says, "I judge all things as I would have them be."
Woo!
Interesting. Then it says, judgment was made to be a weapon used against the truth.
Wow, a weapon?
Judgment
as a weapon.
Used against the truth. It separates what it is being used against and sets it off as if it were a thing apart.
Separation, by definition, separation. Not me, not this, not included. You can't sit with us.
The opposite of letting things be.
Opposite of letting things be as they are. Yeah.
And then it makes of it what you would have it be when you set it apart. It judges what it cannot understand because it cannot see totally, and therefore judges falsely.
Right.
Let us not use it today, but make a gift of it to him who has a different use for it. Now that was really an awesome understanding from you today. Let us not use judgment today, but make a gift of it to him who has a different use for it. He will relieve us of the agony of all the judgments we have made against ourselves.
Okay, so how about our judgment being a gift?
Right. To God.
Yeah, or to discernment.
To
right, yeah,
discernment.
to myself and to us. And to and like saying I'm not going to contribute to suffering. I'm gonna give my judgment to some that is going to relieve my suffering, or going to actually help me show me the truth and the living.
Well, it was really cool. I wanted to finish that line because it says, he will relieve us of the agony of all the judgments we have made against ourselves.
Yeah, that's the deal.
And reestablish peace of mind by giving us God's judgment of his son, which is
the truth.
Total unconditional love.
Yeah. Who am I?
Yeah.
Do you want to be told about who you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely unconditional love. So the prayer
presence.
is, Father, we wait with open mind today to hear your judgment of the Son you love. We do not know him and we cannot judge. And so we let your love decide what he whom you created as your Son must be.
So who decides?
That's
your love. Who decides everything? Your love. What
love.
Yeah, what gift do you make of your judgment? You give it to your love.
Your love, yes.
You give it to your love. Give judgment to your love, and let the judgment be used to say, I am not separate from my brother. I am not separate from God, and that if I see what is real, I am not afraid. Isn't that what's often about? I'm not afraid of losing. Nothing's going to be taken from me. Those kind of things.
Yeah.
We're going to talk further about that in the lesson. But
Well, first, let's do our
let's do the
meditation. And in honor of, all of our traditions and celebrations that speak to the light returning in the midst of the darkness, which is this season of the year in the northern hemisphere, I'm going to light a candle as we ring the bell and go into our circle of love. So first, let's ring the bell 3 times and breathe 3 times. The last exhale on an Om. As we sound the sound of Om, as we realize that we are co-creating right now a circle of unconditional love in this room and in the spaces where we live and in the streets and the towns and the cities and the country and the world in which we live in, we are creating this circle of love which brings and acknowledges the light within us. It also acknowledges and helps us understand that everything that we like and everything that we do not like is included in this circle of unconditional love. So today, we honor the light returning to our hearts. We honor the journey from thinking that we are lost to understanding that everything that we need, we already have. That is the light within. And we celebrate the knowledge that God doesn't condemn us at all, ever, for anything. Blessed be, and so it is.
God has condemned me not. God has condemned me not. God has condemned me not. No more do no more do I was mistaken. I did not realize the source from which I came. My holiness remains. My holiness remains. All the mistakes I've made are simply illusions. I let them go today and receive God's word. I trust in God's word. Love which created me is what I am. I seek no more today. Love has prevailed. God has condemned me not. God has condemned me not. God has condemned me not. No more do I. No more do I. No more do I.
Blessed be.
Was that
Blessed
fun?
Be. Oh, blessed be, and so it is.
No, I really like that. That's I was like remembering that that's one of those songs that we get people say they already know this song.
Oh,
they
it
feel like
sounds
they
like an old
they
song.
already know this song, and it's kind of true. When something is true, it feels like we're discovering for the first time all over again.
Yeah.
When something is true, it's kind of like an aha moment.
Yeah.
I don't know what it feels like to download a song because I've never written a song before. But I imagine it's something
mean
like
how I channel
I mean
things?
it's something
Yeah.
like more like the course says, remembering. It's almost like this song is already in me. This expression is already here.
It is.
You know?
That's how they work. Of course, that's a Course in Miracles lesson, which says God has condemned me not, and it's practically word for word from that lesson. And as Helen channeled that lesson, I felt like, I was channeling that music, you know. So it really is wonderful, I think, how Spirit speaks to each of us and reminds us of who we are. you know?
This one and Step Back are the ones that folks say, oh, I remember singing that as a child.
That feels good.
That's a great feeling when you've written a song like that's wonderful. But we had really good time this week on Wednesday. When Wednesday is do our regular Course in Miracles class, and if you're interested in joining us at our regular Course in Miracles class, shoot an email to Yolanda at yolanda.net, and we'll facilitate getting you the special details on how to join us on Wednesday nights between 7 and 9. But we had such a good time because we talked this week about the way the course is structured. The way my understanding of the course is structured is, as I've said this before, the first 5 chapters are generally about the way the world really exists and why we're having such trouble. And from about 6 to about 18, 19, 6 to about 16, the next 10 chapters are the hero's journey. Bringing us to this inner knowledge that we're not separate. We have a place in the world, that we're needed, loved, and we're necessary. We're a necessary component. We occupy a necessary part in the mind of God, and there's something that is compelling for us to do in the world, and that's like the gift we find, the gift, our presence that we want to share with the world, our gifts and things. And so we begin on this journey to give ourselves away. And as we round out the year, we go through times in which we have to deal with the past, We have to deal with people that are in our lives that are in conflict with. We have to understand what partnerships and intimate relationships are about. We have to understand what larger sort of group dynamics are at play. These are different. These are chapters in A Course in Miracles I'm talking about here.
Okay.
Because if we realize that we're not alone and friendless and we're not doing this all by ourselves, we're actually going to be surrounded by people that love us.
That's right.
And we're going to we are going to love, others and be a part of something. Most of the time, what is ours to do is involved in partnering with the world and partnering with other people in the world. I'm sure you recognize this too. Well,
Right.
chapter 27, the healing of the dream, is very, very, very important because this is how we work inside of institutions. This is
Really?
how we build
interesting.
institutions.
Okay.
Okay, the last chapter was on transitions, and transitions is how we stabilize what we've learned. We talked about that for a couple weeks, remember? And then this work. So for 2 weeks now, we're going to talk about how we can organize the mission of like a large group of people. How we can organize structures of human beings to serve our purpose. Right? This is kind of institutional way of understanding it. Now, I say institutions, but there was another word, and I cannot think of. I'll have to remember it. I'm calling it institutions, but it's really. What was the other word?
I don't know. Do you mean organizations?
Yes.
How to organize people together? Oh, okay. Building organizations.
Yes,
perhaps.
and what we do in organizations, how
okay.
organizations, healthy organizations operate, what they're about, and Awakening Together is a very good example of this.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Like truly, truly, truly.
It really is.
And when Regina read the 20 whatever,
I know.
oh
We're
my
just
goodness,
that's why we went and got the 37
got the
reasons
book.
and everything
The
like
37
that.
reasons,
It's like we did that absolutely. So it's more than group dynamics. It's group purpose. Okay? The healing of the dream. So what's the dream? What do we say the dream is? Right? The way the world's teaching, right? The asleep metaphor for A Course in Miracles. Somebody who is not awakened or doesn't see the world as it is. They see the world as separate pieces, right? That don't fit together.
And
right.
I do that sometimes.
What Regina was calling this morning as our programming. We identify with our programming and not with who we are.
Exactly.
So we come to this part, the healing of the dream. Okay, the healing of the dream was what are we going to do together to create and live together if we're not going to keep recreating this dream to be healed. Okay.
Oh, I love that. Okay, cool. That's a great way to say
beyond
it.
forgiveness. We talked about that last week, right? So, all right. So. Power. No. So this is called Beyond All Symbols.
Yeah.
And it's no accident that what she wants to talk about first. Why don't you read?
I am.
Read these two.
Because
read
this
the
is
part
so
I've
cool.
highlighted.
I will, but I want to go check back in the room right quick just to see if everybody's okay. Yeah. So as we go back and forth between screens, so if you have anything or that really
We
comes
try to have.
you,
Yeah, we try to.
put it on the chat and we'll talk about it. But anyway, so this is so cool. It starts off with
The first sentence is
power cannot oppose.
what?
Now this is cool. This next sentence: weak strength is meaningless, and power used to weaken is employed to limit. Who can understand a double concept such as weakened power or hateful love?
I know. Okay, tell me you don't know who can understand a double concept such as weakened power or hateful love, and then tell me you don't know exactly what she's talking about by hateful love and a weakened power.
There's this thing on social media where it's called hate
like,
liking.
Like hate following.
Oh my god, that's what it reminded me of. What about I love to hate you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, or the concept of a frenemy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So she wants to talk about, when we talk about building institutions, you know what she wants to talk about? What real power is.
Yeah.
That's how she starts. She goes, what's what's real power? If you want to do this together, and if we're all power, what's real power? Well, we learn this. We've been learning this through all this study we've done through partnerships and through group dynamics and through intimacy and through stabilization. So what is real power? Real power is the wholeness, right? It's the collective. It is this all-win situation. This no losers, where no one is losing. Remember that from last week? To live in a world where to create and work from and understand or have a mindset of problem solving, right, in which there are no losers, where nobody wins or loses. It doesn't come up. So it doesn't oppose anything. So what is power? It doesn't oppose. This is really weird in America, because what do? We want to, who's responsible? Stop that and shut it all down, right? So meaningless things have no effect on the truth. We know that, but do we apply it in all situations? What is power? It is our it is us. It is the real wholeness and completeness of us all. So illusion, meaningless things don't have the ability to affect who we are. Now they can interact with our delusions and our fears and actually run right over us, right? But we're going to continue. We're going to look at that in the next couple of paragraphs. But in the power, she says in the first paragraph, power never limits others. Now, this is healthy institutional power, not to limit, but to empower and expand, right? That's a healthy institution. Where there is no opposing what is, meaning we don't oppose what works, what actually is the case. Let things be exactly as they are. What's really happening here? Do we solve for the cause, or do we solve for the symptoms, right? We learned a couple of weeks ago that we thought that, problems have many solutions because they all have all different these manifestations, and we're playing whack-a-mole with the problems in the world. She's saying, let's build on that idea and say there is no opposing what works. If it works and what is good, we don't have to shut down what doesn't work in order to enhance what does work. And it's counterintuitive in the way that we build friendships and organizations and collective existence. The truth doesn't need a defense. The truth, power doesn't have anything to prove.
Right. Wow.
Isn't that? Doesn't it sound freeing? Right. If you know that you're in the if you know that you're one with God, and that's where all the power lies, and you're in this moment where all power can be accessed. What do we have to fear?
See, it's interesting that she even uses the word power, and that we're talking about power. She
starts with the word power. It's the first word in this thing. What is power?
Because the whole, we've been so conditioned that power, when we speak of power, that it's about power over, and we're to be afraid of power, and all this. So this is really, really freeing.
What is real power? It's our collective wholeness.
Our collective wholeness.
Okay, she begins. That's the first paragraph that she wants to talk about. When we begin to talk about seeing beyond symbols, the chapter is called Beyond All Symbols.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll read this next. We're gonna get a couple highlighted pieces.
Yeah, but go back into the room. I want to check because I think we had comments. Yeah, there are comments in the chat here.
What I love to hate about you. Oh, that's very good. Yes, what I love to hate about you. That's brilliant.
That's very funny.
So we even understand these concepts so well that we can even find pop culture references for them. So why don't we put it into practice? Why is it so difficult to say, I know where all power is, so I want to share all power with you? Why in an institutional setting and in work or what we do or how we build together, why is it difficult for us to learn how to work with others so that nobody loses, and to create solutions and live in a world where everybody wins, gets what they need, and nobody loses? What kind of mindset is that?
Well, that's where we're. That's where
we're going. So she goes, and she goes. We have to understand what real power is, and we'll make different decisions.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
In which power has nothing to prove, it needs no defense, there's no opposition to it, meaningless things can have no effect on it. It is about it's about our collective wholeness. The whole is what is power, and that's available in the moment. So read this next piece.
Okay. Symbols, which but represent ideas that cannot be, must stand for empty space and nothingness.
Which is good news.
Okay. What can interfere with the awareness of reality is the belief that there is something there. Oh, in that empty space.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not empty.
Okay. Space, the empty space it occupies is
You can say let them.
Oh, okay.
That's
Let
just-
then the empty space it occupies be recognized as vacant, and the time devoted to its seeing be perceived as idly spent, a time unoccupied.
Okay, when we're putting our meaning into the world, when we're putting the way things have got to be in the world, when I'm putting my judgment, and we talked about judgment, right? We're talking about judgment. When I put my judgment into the world, what am I doing? I'm telling you that I'm creating. It's the I create all the meaning that it has for me. So that's the idea. So how we see the world, the correct how we see the world is really very key in finding out where we fall on this binary. So our brothers, us, is the living temple. Remember that from last week? The living temple, God, the manifestation or the reflection in the material world of God is the living temple. The Course in Miracles calls it the living temple. It's our presence. It's the wholeness right here and right now. And she says we don't see it that way. We see, or you're still seeing things, and she's asking us to recognize it. She's not beating us up for it. She's saying recognize this doesn't solve the problem that you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
The old way is competition with others, isn't it? And and the way the ego describes it is we join egos for a short while in order for to accomplish something.
Right.
So we guard against losing something, losing our dignity or losing our innocence or losing the advantage or whatever it is. Think about what that is in the way the Course in Miracles teaches about reality. Guarding against losing means that we think we can lose doing God's will.
Right.
That I'm out here doing God's will and everything, and I'm going to be like hurt because of it. I'm going to be in danger because I'm doing God's will. Now, the symbols she's talking about is something we also recognize. Bodies.
Yeah.
Right. The objects themselves. Right. That we're placing meaning in. So these bodies, these resources, these assets, or even access to resources, the person who has the gate or we grew up, there were 4 kids in my family. And I was the oldest boy, and there were 3 boys and 1 girl. So there was a food and 1 income. And so food was really important. There was enough to eat, but we couldn't really go and raid the refrigerator anytime that we wanted to. In my house growing up, we had to ask permission to go into the refrigerator because all of the food was already doled out. Right.
Your mom was very organized.
Yeah. So the symbols of things.
Yeah.
So the contradiction. This makes me the symbols are bodies and access to assets or resources like the refrigerator door. Right? Access to the refrigerator. So the contradiction here is, think about this. This thing, like a Jedi's lightsaber. This thing makes me strong. Or, whatever it could be. This thing I possess makes me strong. You're also saying, if I don't possess it, I'm not strong.
Right.
So your strength can be taken away from you. You see that playing into this paradigm creates, the world in which we think the suffering is happening to us. Right? So the remedy is, we know this as well. She's repeating these lessons. She's building up to where she wants us to go with this so we can follow along. The remedy is, what you see means nothing. What I see doesn't mean anything. What's the first lesson in the Course in Miracles?
Well, it's nothing in this room
means anything. I don't know what anything is for.
Yeah, I give
Let things be
I
exactly as they are. What's the remedy? Let them be vacant. She uses the word vacant.
Yeah.
Take my imposition about what it's all got to be like and what it's all should be, and take my stuff out of the world. Step one, observe the world and let it be vacant, i.e., without my little me imposing.
Yeah.
And so this is actually the center, what centers a healthy institution or a healthy group of people. To observe and to let the world be as, so you can get good answers, you can get good data, right? In what works and what is. Work with what is. We need to observe and not put ourselves in there in order to be able to even get to step one. What's actually happening here?
Right.
How do I use this power I've been given? Our power, our collective power. How are we going to use this collective power? So she goes on.
Yeah, let's see if there's any comments or in the chat, because I can't tell from the other. We got two.
You all right?
Okay.
Forgiveness of illusions and love reality. Right. It's so really it's crazy. It's really, it is.
Yep. It is. It is crazy.
Acting on this stuff, I find that, with help, it's with the community. It's doing this with others that I'm able to remember to do it. Like going through my upset with others helps me get on the other side of my upset.
Right.
So what she was talking about. So this is the center of healthy institutions. This observe the world for as it is while removing myself from being the arbiter of reality. Right. And institutions do this as well. We're not going to decide the way the world needs to be. We're going to look at the world and make decisions based on what works and what is, working with what is, rather than imposing a new thing on it. So read this next bit.
Imposing its will, the will of the
organization. You know what you need. Instead of going in and saying, what do you need?
Right.
An unhealthy institution will go in and say, you know what you need to do?
Right.
You know what you, one of the things that artists really don't like is for you to be really excited about their work and then tell them, you know what you really should be doing? Every artist I know really doesn't like that, like to have that conversation when somebody comes up and goes, you know what you really should be doing? That's an unhealthy institution. And a healthy institution will say, what do you need? And that's done by observing and asking, right? And engaging. So go ahead.
Okay, let's see. An empty space becomes a silent invitation to the truth to enter, for the truth to enter.
There we go.
For what you leave as vacant, God will fill, and where he is, there must the truth abide. Unweakened power with no opposite is what creation is.
Okay, what is creation?
Unweakened power with no opposite.
Okay, so unweakened power with no opposite is the creative force.
Yes.
You see how creation, this moment, us, and wholeness are all linked up together in this creating. Isn't that what institutions are? We task institutions with? Creating something?
Interesting.
Okay, continue.
Okay. Reality is ultimately known without a form, unpictured, and unseen. Forgiveness is the means by which the truth is represented temporarily.
No.
It lets the Holy Spirit make exchange of pictures possible.
Oh, now the exchange of pictures.
That's interesting.
See, we're picturing the world in one way, right? Picture this. Sophie says in The Golden Girls, she goes, picture this.
Picture this. Sicily, 1922. Whatever it is. Yeah.
So the picture, we're not seeing, the picture we're seeing as the idea here is the picture that we're seeing without the knowledge of the oneness and where power goes is we're picturing a world of power over and thinking that's the way to be or that's desirable. We're picturing a world in which we lose. We're picturing a world in which it's dangerous. We're picturing a world where we can't have what we want. We're picturing the world where suffering is the truth.
Right.
Okay. Forgiveness is the means by which the truth is represented temporarily. Like let go. Like isn't that leaving the world vacant? It's like forgiving the world. and let the Holy Spirit make the exchange of here, look at this. Don't see it this way. Look at it this way.
I see. That's a great term.
So the
phrase.
promise is to see correctly. She goes,
Yeah.
if you will understand this idea of working, doing with what works. Step one is observe and understand we're dealing with bodies and instead of competition, we could be dealing with this living temple idea. So if we want to see the living temple, we must give up the way we want to see the world, the way we do see the world, and let it be vacant so the Holy Spirit can come in and the reality, or God fills the void of our perception and allows us to see correctly. In the Course of Miracles cosmology, that's seeing with the eyes of Christ, or seeing with anointed eyes, or seeing the world as it is. I leave myself out of the meaning-making process, is basically. She calls this the invitation to the truth, is when I take myself out of the meaning-making process. That is the invitation to the truth. And this is this generative creativity. She says, and then she goes right into creation. She goes, if you let God show you what it is, what you will see is this creation. What you will see is things that want to be born. And isn't that cool? Because I'm no longer building it. I'm participating in it building itself. Do you understand that? The generation of this the creativity that exists when I let myself get out of the moment actually builds the thing I want to experience, builds the institutions, the connections, the communities that I want. And letting go allows us to make a better next decision, and a better next decision, and a better next decision, and greater and ultimate realities can be known if I allow them to be unpictured and unseen.
Wow.
Right? Because that's what I want the experience. I don't want to have this person, that thing, this longitude, and that longitude. I want to have the awareness. I want to have an understanding of the truth. I want connection and reality and love and power, the experience of power. None of those things are in an object. So, you remember the teacher's prayer, the last thing in the Course of Miracles, she goes, you blessed holy child are blessed. You usher in a world unseen and unheard, yet truly there. She says, she's preparing us for the farther along in the book. She begins to use these phrases. So learning, this is about, in a little bit of what Regina was talking about today, learning to walk through our fears together. Have an upset, but it doesn't collapse everything. It doesn't. It's like so tragic. Somebody's meltdown, or somebody's mistake, or somebody's bad behavior doesn't crash everything.
Right.
And we've seen institutions where one person can crash the whole thing. That's not a healthy institution. Learning to walk through our fears together is what she's talking about. This is this moving beyond. This is the beyond symbols, beyond what it looks like, the building or the book or the whatever it is. Beyond the symbol is our connection, is the wholeness, is the experience of reality. Is what we're going for.
Preach it.
Right?
Okay.
So here we are. So that's the promise. We'll see the living temple if we will let the world be vacant. So then she goes on, and we're coming up on the end here.
Yeah, okay. The picture of your brother given you to occupy the space so lately left unoccupied and vacant will not need defense of any kind.
Oh, that's a real relief. I don't have to keep shoring it up.
Power wholly limitless has come not to destroy, but to receive its own.
I love that.
I do too, but the next line is my favorite line.
I know we said this a couple of times on our Wednesday night.
I love this. Listen to how she phrases this. You do not know the peace of power that opposes nothing. The peace of power that opposes nothing. Yet no other kind can be at all. Give welcome to the power beyond forgiveness and beyond the world of symbols and of limitations. He would merely be, and so he merely is.
I know. Did you get a charge when she said beyond the power beyond forgiveness
and beyond the world of symbols and limitations?
The world of Beyond the world of symbols and limitations is the real world. Let me take you. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. We do this, right? Real power is this horizontal, relational power structure that we could build into our institutions, that we build into our connections and families and friends. And she's asking us that this is where real power lies. Mm-hmm. And it comes from seeing correctly.
Yeah. And
it's how to effectively interact with others. She's giving us instructions on how to effectively interact with others. She's asking us not to shut down what we do not like, but to build what we do want.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
To stop looking for what is wrong and start building with others who see what we want. We all have the same function, she says in the beginning. To remember, we said this last week, to be the place of peace, to be the shelter in the world. She asks us to be a shelter in the world from the cold winter storm and the wind and the rain. That's what she says.
Yeah.
We all have the same function, to be the place of peace, to be the place of shelter. And I think our institutions and when we get together and our groups actually function really, really well this way when we can see them beyond symbols. So it's like what this symbol is representing as what I want to be involved with, not the symbol. And this is where all power exists. It's in our relationships. So
here's to the peace of power that opposes
nothing. I'm Reverend Glen Ganaway, your favorite anarchist preacher, and you are listening to Church with a 2-Drink Minimum. Woo! Mm-hmm. The peace of power that opposes nothing.
That really got to me.
Uh-huh.
Go back. There was a comment in there I wanted to say. Let's see what's in the chat. There we go. Oh, Martha. Hi, Martha. Yay! Forgiveness of illusions and love reality. Yeah.
Because reality is going to be the thing that's going to give us juice. Reality has power in it. I mean, for me, it was really good to listen to her say, power is good. False power is not. You know, power over is something that we don't want to contribute to. But real power, the power I share with you, the power of this moment in our identity as God, in our identity, there is power. There's wonder working power.
The wonder working
power. I
know. We love those little songs. Well, I'm going to share something with you that I think really goes with this. From the Upanishads, there's a phrase that says, you are what your driving desire is. And as your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. And as your deed is, so is your destiny. So this is a song called Driving Desire. Imagine a world of divine inspiration where we all play a part in creation. This is that world. You are the one.
As your deed is, so is your destiny. As your deed is, so is your destiny.
No, there's my favorite. There's my favorite butterfly, right there. I'm glad she doesn't travel to Mexico every year, though. So that's really good. That's where Monarchs go.
Thank you, Martha. I really appreciate that you liked it. Thank you so much. Oh goodness, that's our land in Vermont that we're so blessed to
and that
have.
house is no longer there.
Yeah. But now we have a mobile
I know. We got a new home.
Yay! Well, anyway, we are thrilled to be with you today. We thank you very much, and we're going to give up the mic a little early here, but I'll sing a little. Here we go. Please stay tuned for a lovely evening. We've got so much fun to share. Reverend Jacqueline with something genuine. Then Regina Dawn Akers. And don't forget, at the end of the evening, we have Sounds of Awakening.
With Reverend Yolanda.
Stay tuned. Thanks for coming to church and to drink.
We love you. You're
love
part
you.
of our community.
We do. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Wow.